Kroschel's father, he brought all these watermelons. Look at all these watermelons. This has got to be, I don't know, right. Out of Yekaterinburg, Russia.
10,000 US, 15,000 in US in watermelons? What's going to eat all these watermelons besides the bears? But how good are these watermelons? We're about to find out. Oh, delicious. Look at that. It reminds me of what I was eating. I posted this on Facebook, May 2025. These days, breakfast, lunch, dinner is comprised of fiddleheads, dandelion greens, and the inner cambium layer of tree bark, organic of course. That's what I was eating to survive. Posted this on Facebook on May 20th. Healthy to be sure. But why was I eating like a wild animal myself? Why was I eating like that? Well, because of the blockade from the Alaska Department of Fish and Game that began on August 5th, 2024. I had to safeguard the animals' diets. I had to safeguard the park. The animals came before me. My greatest insurance was Dave and Charlotte Orud, who would make sure that the park could continue until I was open. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game intentionally tried to blockade me and starve me out so I would raise the white flag, but I refused. They gave me this fake hope that the park could be open within a few days before the raid. There is no way that I can allow this guy, Ryan Scott, the director of Alaska Department of Fish and Game, who is known in the office as Little Napoleon, to get away with this. His lies, the way he makes fun of me, how he's destroyed my life. What is he saying here? More lies. That's all this guy does, is lie. We're not aware. We're not aware of this. We're not aware of that. Ryan Scott, you are going to pay for what you've done to my animals in Haines, Alaska, to my family, to my life. You will pay. Lady Justice will find you. Originally, there was this in the Superior Court of the State of Alaska. Memorandum in support of motion for a preliminary injunction. This was filed in the spring of 2025 to stop the Alaska Department of Fish and Game from raiding my park. We didn't trust them. That's what I did. That's what kept them. That locked them away. That tied their hands from trying to do what they did in late June of 2025. But, introduction, appellant requests the court to issue a preliminary injunction enjoining this despicable organization and any and all employees from removing any animals from Kroschel Wildlife Center until I have exhausted the right to all appeals, including potentially requesting the Alaska Supreme Court for a discretionary review of this court's decisions, should that decision be adverse to Stephen Kroschel. In addition, I request the court to require the Alaska Department of Fish and Game to reinstate my license. This preliminary injunction is required because irreparable harm will result if the Alaska Department of Fish and Game removes the animals from Kroschel Wildlife Center, which include wolves, a wolverine, moose, mink, a brown bear, kitty. Yes, exactly, kitty. All this court filing, all this maneuvering with my attorney, all of this was deleted, however, when I called my attorney because I believed the words of the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. There was communication that said, no, we'll give him his permit. All he needs to do is get a veterinarian to look at his animals and to dismiss these court documents that I had in place. My attorney did that on May 1st. On May 1st, 2025, I filed papers with the court to dismiss the appeal without prejudice. On April 30th, 2025, Mr. Kroschel received communication stating that two things are preventing the Alaska Department of Fish and Game from granting an educational permit to Stephen Kroschel. Two things. There are two things that are preventing the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. And those two things were dismissing all legalities and having Dr. Kathleen Doty, my veterinarian, visit me and look at the animals, which she did on May 5th, 2025, the same day as Dr. Ann Goplin and her entourage showed up. Unbelievable. You want proof? Time. Let me go back and find Ann Goplin. There she is. There's Ann Goplin. That's her and that CIA sunglasses lady, Dr. Katie Frank. Here's Ann Goplin. Let's go back in time to, there we go. Right about here. Right here where I explained to Dr. Goplin and Dr. Katie Frank that my veterinarian, Dr. Kathleen Doty from Eagle River, Alaska, was in Haines, waiting to come out for her inspection.
Just her routine visit of checking
she's
everything
doing
out.
an exam of the animals and the whole 9 yards and filling out logs, and this is for Fish and Game and all. Do the Fish and Game people know that you're here?
They knew we were coming, yes.
Okay. When did they know that?
I don't know that. That happened many levels
Don't play
above
dumb,
me.
Dr. Goplin.
Now, why is she here? Is just extra?
Because oftentimes when we have big...
Dr. Goplin, I asked her a day later if the Alaska Department of Fish and Game knew they were coming, and she said no. This first day, she said yes.
Do the Fish and Game people know that you're here?
They knew we were coming, yes.
Okay. When did Fish and Game people know that you're here?
They knew we were coming.
Do the Fish and Game people know that you're here?
They knew we were coming, yes.
Okay. Did the Alaska Department of Fish and Game know that you were coming yesterday?
I do not know. I have not been in contact with them for months. I do not know if they knew we were coming.
There's a reason why the Alaska Department of Fish and Game is very quiet. Because they know that I hang them with their words. That's why there's no more emails. And then on the 7th of March, Mr. Kroschel, we are in the process of reviewing your recent application. Notice the date in which he wrote that. March 7th. Notice he wrote it on March 7th. March 7th. March 7th. What is... March 6th. No state live exhibition educational permit will be issued. This constitutes a final decision by this guy. And on June 12th, this guy, Douglas Vincent Lang, writes this: "We are still under review and discussing with the Department of Agriculture regarding their recent inspection. We want to make sure we are coordinated and Mr. Kroschel is fully permitted to operate as an educational facility." What? On June 12th, Doug Vincent Lang says, still under review and discussing with the Department of Agriculture, USDA, regarding their recent inspection. We want to make sure we are coordinated and Mr. Kroschel is fully permitted. Of course I had my USD license enforced. He knows that. On the 22nd of June, a mere 4 days before the raid, your department's delay and failure to issue the educational permit are having a detrimental impact on tourism in Haines. And what did the commissioner say? I understand the impact tourism. We will have a decision soon. Have a good weekend. This dirty, rotten son of a you-know-what. That's 4 days before the raid. We will have a decision soon. So his decision was, you know what his decision was.